Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So much going on, it's not boring, that's for sure. And I think it will be even more intense in the coming future. We have to truly buckle up. I was wondering what to start with. So let me just summarize the topics that I have in this video for you. We will start with a clip, and this is this clip summarizes an interview that J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, has given to Sean Hannity on Fox News. It's a very condensed clip. We're going to go to this. And of course, to President Trump, this is from White House from yesterday, who was answering the question about current state affairs between Russia and United States. As many of you already know, the breaking news all around the world is US suspends all military aid, all military support to Ukraine. So we will go through this as well, parts of the article about that. And we will have the response from Ursula the Witch, who, this is how I call Ursula von der Leyen, and European Union to the change of the wind. Yeah, she will have something to say. And the last news for you will be about the incident that took place in November 2022 in Poland, because new director of FBI, Kash Patel, made a statement that that rocket that killed two Polish men, two Polish citizens in the town of Przewodów, and I will show you that location on the map, that of course Zelensky said it was Russia who did it, that Kash Patel says, no, it was not Russia. How things are changing, huh? Zelensky never apologized for that. I don't think he did, unless I missed that moment, but I don't think I missed that moment. We will end this video with a recording from one of Ukrainian MPs that I put in the stories on my Instagram account. And with that, I will be able to show you how to follow those stories, because I don't attach them in the links in the description box. Everything else will be down below in the description box. Before I continue, if this video, if my channel brings you any value, make sure to hit the thumbs up, because it really helps with the algorithm. YouTube recommends those videos that have more likes to more viewers. It also helps me in my work, helps my channel to grow, and we are building bigger community, creating more awareness, spreading more truth, and I think it's important. So I would appreciate this very much. Now, without further ado, let me mute myself and we go to the interview that J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, has given to Fox News yesterday.
Zelensky says about me or anybody else, but he showed a clear unwillingness to engage in. I really don't care what President Zelensky says about me or anybody else, but he showed a clear unwillingness to engage in the peace process that President Trump has said is the policy of the American people and of their president. That's the real breakdown, is I think Zelensky wasn't yet there, and I think frankly now still isn't there, but I think he'll get there eventually. He has to. Rubio said, no one is suggesting that we give the Nobel Peace Prize to Vladimir Putin. What we're saying is it's important for President Trump to be able to have a conversation. That's not well served by standing up at a press conference and calling the guy every negative name in the book. What President Trump has said clearly and consistently is, of course, the door is open so long as Zelensky is willing to seriously talk peace. You can't come into the Oval Office or anywhere else and refuse to even discuss the details of a peace deal. This is not going to make anybody happy. The Russians are going to have to give up stuff. The Ukrainians are going to have to give up stuff. You can't come to the Oval Office and say, give us security guarantees. We won't even engage with you about what we're willing to give up. That's been the Ukrainian posture. When that posture changes, as President Trump said, when they're willing to talk peace, I think President Trump will be the first person to pick up the phone.
Well, I want to see it end fast. I don't want to see this go on for years and years. Now, President Zelensky supposedly made a statement today in AP. I'm not a big fan of AP, so maybe it was an incorrect statement, but he said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time. And he better not be right about that. That's all I'm saying.
Wouldn't that be concerning to
So I want to play the full question and answer now that this journalist was asking President Trump. And that video, it was cut off. So let me take you there. And then we have a little comment from me.
my colleague's question from Russia saying that your foreign policy is largely in line with their vision? Should that be concerning to Americans?
Said what?
Should that be concerning to Americans?
Read the statement.
That Russia says that your administration's foreign policy is, quote, largely in line with their vision.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important, and from us. I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long, because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. We talk about suffering. They've suffered. But if you think about it, under President Bush, they got Georgia, right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right? Crimea. Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing. They tried to get the whole big Ukraine, the whole thing. If I didn't get in here, they would have gotten the whole thing. So I can only say, you can go back to Bush, you can go back to Obama, and go back to Biden. They took a lot. The only one they didn't get, you know what I gave them? I gave them anti-tank missiles. That's what I gave them. I gave them sanctions on Russia. I gave them javelins. You know the javelins? You know when they took out all those tanks? You know the tanks were heading to Kiev by the hundreds, and they were unstoppable. And I gave them javelins. So, you know, I really, Putin is the one that will tell you this has not been so good for them. The fact is that I just want fairness. I want fairness. But think of it. I gave Russia nothing except grief. I gave them nothing. I gave them sanctions and javelins. That's what I gave them. Obama gave them sheets, and you heard that statement before. It's a very famous. Trump gave them javelins, and Obama gave them sheets, and then they say how close I am to Russia. And let me tell you, we have to make a deal because there are a lot of people being killed that shouldn't be killed. But remember, Trump gave them nothing, and the other presidents gave them a lot. They gave them everything.
Well, what I think of this? How many more days, weeks, or months Zelensky will be around? I'm gonna use this for the title of this video. Zelensky won't be around very long, because this clearly is the message. Now the question is, what will make him go away? What do you think, guys? Who or what will make him, I hope all of those Zelenskys, because there is a number of them, go away? So let me take you now to Ursula the Witch. No, let me take you to the article about US suspending all the military support for Ukraine. Please don't pay attention to The Guardian. I know most of those newspapers are Soros money, if not something else, but I want to go through some details, okay? What does this really mean? US suspends all military aid to Ukraine in wake of Trump's Zelensky row, that whatever. Let's go here. The Trump administration has suspended delivery of all US military aid to Ukraine, blocking billions in crucial shipments as the White House piles pressure on Ukraine to sue for peace with Vladimir Putin. The decision affects deliveries of ammunition, vehicles, and other equipment, including shipments agreed to when Joe Biden was president. Here is the statement from. Okay, let's read this. The decision followed a White House meeting that included Hexet and the Vice President J.D. Vance, along with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. So it says the president has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well, a White House official told the Washington Post. We are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it is contributing to a solution. Oleksandr Mieresko, the chair of Ukraine's Parliamentary Foreign Affairs Committee, said Trump appeared to be pushing Ukraine towards capitulation. Quoting him now, to stop aid now means to help Russian President Vladimir Putin. On the surface, this looks really bad. It looks like he is pushing us towards capitulation, meaning accepting Russia's demands. The US Congress has approved $175 billion in total assistance for Ukraine since Russia's invasion nearly 3 years ago, according to the Non-Partisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. In December, shortly before leaving office, so last year, 2024, Biden announced an additional 5.9, let's do it $6 billion in security and budget assistance. US assistance to Ukraine includes military aid, budgetary assistance largely delivered through a World Bank Trust Fund, and other funds that had been delivered through the US Agency for International Development. Yeah, US aid, which has been trolled by the Trump White House. Throttled, I don't know this word. Some of the money sent by the US to Ukraine helps the country pay the salaries of teachers and doctors and keeps the government running, allowing it to focus on fighting Russia's invasion. Guys, I have a question about this. Is this really true? Or do you think that most of this money, if not all, goes to those people close to Zelensky, if not to himself? Ukraine weapons assistance from the US has been facilitated through two programs: Presidential Drawdown Authority, PDA, which allows the president to quickly transfer weapons and equipment from US stocks to foreign countries without the need for congressional approval, and the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, USA, where military equipment is procured from the defense industry. In total, the US has pledged $31.7 billion worth of weapons aid to Ukraine through PDA. This is crazy, huh? The vast majority, well over 20 billion, according to a Reuters analyst, has been shipped. Can I just say, I think after a while, when we're reading all those numbers or hearing all those numbers, we're like, oh, another billion, then we go into trillions, and then I don't know what's after trillions. I don't even remember how many zeros trillion has, okay? But when you look at it from like logical standpoint, logical perspective, this is crazy. Those amounts of money could do so much good in so many countries. In United States, in other countries where people struggle with, poverty and safety and, improve their living, and I don't know, it's just crazy because we get kind of like, oh, another billion. It's a lot of money. It's crazy amount of money. So what does Ursula says? Ursula von der Leyen. I have to mute myself because this will be her voice, unfortunately.
Dangerous of times. I do not need to describe this and dangerous of times. I do not need to describe the grave nature of the threats that we face or the devastating consequences that we will have to endure if those threats would come to pass, because the question is no longer whether Europe's security is threatened in a very real way, or whether Europe should shoulder more of its responsibility for its own security. In truth, we have long known the answers to those questions. The real question in front of us is whether Europe is prepared to act as decisively as the situation dictates, and whether Europe is ready and able to act with speed and with the ambition that is needed. In the various meetings in the last few weeks, most recently 2 days ago in London, the answer from European capitals has been as resounding as it is clear. We are in an era of rearmament. And Europe is ready to massively boost its defense spending, both to respond to the short-term urgency to act and to support Ukraine, but also to address the long-term need to take on more responsibility for our own European security. And this is why today I have written a letter to the leaders ahead of Thursday's European Council. This is why we are here together today. I have outlined in this letter to the leaders the ReArm Europe plan. This set of proposals focuses on how to use all the financial levers at our disposal in order to help member states to quickly and significantly increase expenditures in defense capabilities, urgently now, but also over a longer period of time over this decade. Now, there are 5 points to this plan. The first part of this ReArm Europe plan is to unleash the use of public funding in defense on the national level. Member states are ready to invest more in their own security if they have the fiscal space. So we must enable them to do so. And this is why we will propose to activate the national escape clause of the Stability and Growth Pact. This will allow member states to significantly increase their defense expenditures without triggering the excessive deficit procedure. So if member states would increase their defense spending by 1.5% of GDP on average, this could create fiscal space of close to 650 billion euros over a period of 4 years. The second proposal will be a new instrument. It will provide 150 billion euros of loans to member states for defense investment. This is about basically spending better and spending together. And we're talking about pan-European capabilities domains like, for example, air and missile defense, the artillery systems, missiles and ammunition, drones and anti-drone systems, but also to address other needs from cyber to military mobility, for example. This will help member states to pool demand and to buy together. And of course, with this equipment, member states can massively step up their support to Ukraine. So immediate military equipment for Ukraine. This approach of joint procurement will also reduce costs. It will reduce fragmentation, but it will increase interoperability and of course strengthen our defense industrial base. And it can be to the benefit of Ukraine, as I've just described. So this is Europe's moment, and we must live up to it. The third point is using the power of the EU budget. And there's a lot we can do in this domain in the short term to direct more funds towards defense-related investments. And this is why I can announce that we will propose additional possibilities and incentives for member states, that they will decide if they want to use cohesion policy programs to increase defense spending. Now, the last two areas of action aim at mobilizing private capital by accelerating the Savings and Investment Union, and of course through the European Investment Bank. So to conclude, Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. ReArm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe. We will, of course, continue working closely with our partners in NATO. This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up.
Sorry, guys, I closed that video. So I think you've watched the whole thing. I hope you did. So my thoughts here. ReArm Europe, but then escape from it. $150 billion loan. The last 2 points of her 5 points, besides the aspect that they are sucking the blood from the citizens already in those 3 points, the first 3 points, the last 2 points, probably just bail in, take all the money from the bank account. Sorry, it collapsed. I don't even think she believes in what she's saying. I don't think she does, actually. I could almost feel that she's completely lost in this. She knows this project is not going to succeed. What NATO are you talking about? Maybe after today's address to Congress, after President Trump will address Congress, this entire 5-step plan is poof, because who knows what NATO will look like, how it will look like in the near future. My thoughts on this are, used to be this saying, I'm not going to say full word because it's not nice, F Joe Biden. I think now we're going to have a new F EU. Because how can you take this seriously, everyone, right? How can you take this seriously? ReArm Europe and escape from it. When they rearm it, if ever, which is, I don't think, even possible, Ukraine is already gone. So what are they talking about? On that note, since they are so dangerous and so scary, let me take you to Russia. I'm going to mute this. This is the video I put out on my community page on my channel yesterday. So you can see, what is this about? Well, in May this year, there will be a big parade, official celebration of 80th anniversary of winning the World War II. And not everyone is invited. So some countries have officially been put on the list that is not going to be invited to that big parade and 80 years anniversary on the Red Square, across from Kremlin, a very beautiful place. So let's go through the list of those countries. While looking at the Red Square, I'm sure many of you have been there. If you haven't, I wish you one day go and experience the place. It's a beautiful area. So let's see, maybe I will just keep on showing you the nice views. Unfriendly, and the list of the unfriendly countries is coming in a second. Oh my goodness, how things are. Isn't it crazy? There are countries who actually, like Poland, were fighting with Nazi regime. And what are they doing now, huh? So Germany, Ukraine, Austria, Belgium. This is who's not going there, who's not going to be invited. Denmark, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, France, Czechia, Estonia, Australia, Andorra, the United Kingdom, San Marino, Monaco, Canada, Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, Japan. And that's what we have, everyone. US President Donald Trump also did not receive an invitation, though I think the Kremlin said that he might be coming in the near future. Yeah. The Kremlin recently extended a separate invitation for a future visit to Russia. So this is the May celebration anniversary coming. And now what I want to do, I want to take you to Przewodów. Okay, let me show you first on the map. In November 2022, as many of you know, 2 people have been killed in Poland due to the rocket that hit that little town right here called Przewodów. So let me zoom out first. Okay, here we have Poland, right? You can see Warsaw, Kraków. Ukraine is right here. You have Lviv. This is the borderline. As you can see, that town is almost right next to the border. So this is exactly Lviv is right here, Przewodów right here. Okay. Why I'm bringing this to you is because I came across this news today, which is pretty interesting. Kash Patel. I like Kash Patel. FBI chief says about Przewodów, Russia did not launch a missile. Let's read this. The new director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Kash Patel, referred in an interview to the case of the rocket explosion in Przewodów in November 2022. Zelensky is there. He went on the international stage and said that Russia fired a missile towards Poland, which would literally be an act of war. It turned out that Russia did not launch such a missile. It turned out that it was Ukraine. And I think we all know this, but it's nice to hear it from an official person. And here is the story. At this point, the head of the FBI mentioned Zelensky's name and mentioned about that rocket that fell on Polish territory in November 2022, killing 2 of our citizens in Przewodów. This is from Polish portal, by the way. Patel further criticized the Ukrainian president for begging the world for more money and more money. So, of course, as we know, he used that situation to ask for more money. We simply cannot have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and letting him say, I'm not going to tell you where the money went. So what happened in Przewodów? As a reminder, the explosion of a missile in the village of Przewodów in the Lublin voivodeship, located close to the Polish-Ukrainian border, took place on November 15, 2022, on the day when Russian forces carried out a large-scale missile attack on Ukraine. The explosion killed 2 men. As the Polish authorities later confirmed, a Ukrainian air defense missile most likely fell on the area of the grain dryer, and everything indicates that it was the result of an unfortunate accident. The investigation conducted by Polish prosecutors led to the issuance of an opinion which categorically indicates that this rocket was a Ukrainian rocket, still Soviet-Russian production. As for the place of launch and belonging to a specific military grouping, it was a Ukrainian missile. Said then the Minister of Justice, Prosecutor Zbigniew Ziobro. All right. So we have this now, since I brought the Ukrainian topic again. Let me play for you a video, and I will just show you how to go to my stories. I will mute myself now, show you how to go to my stories and play the video from the Ukrainian MP. Some of you probably have seen it, but those of you who haven't, I think you will be okay with watching it. So let me mute myself, guys, and let's go there.
Zelensky, and I'm a member of the Ukrainian parliament. I have been in prison for 14 months for one reason only. I told the truth about the Biden's corruption in Ukraine. In 2019, I was the first to expose how Joe Biden was using Ukraine for his personal financial gain. I exposed how his son, Hunter Biden, got millions of dollars through offshore schemes and Burisma. I spoke as a lawmaker and I spoke as a patriot of Ukraine. But after Biden won in 2020, Zelensky's government, following Washington crazy orders, opened 4 absolutely stupid and fake criminal cases against me. In November 2023, they put me in prison. No evidence, no trial, no investigation. I was never even asked for testimony. They just want to shut me up and silence my public voice, but they failed. They failed because Biden's corruption is a fact. It's a fact. The American Congress and American court have proven that Hunter Biden received money from Ukrainian officials. He confessed to it. But who's in prison? Dubinsky, not Biden. For what? For speaking the truth about Biden's corruption at a press conference. For exposing Soros' network, the same Soros who is together with Yermak and Zelensky helped to steal your election in 2020. For fighting corruption that steals billions and billions from American taxpayers under the cover of aid to Ukraine. And how do they label me? A Russian agent. Why? Just simply because I was near Derkach, someone I have no ties to. Just like I have no ties to Russia or Russian intelligence. Does it seem familiar, Mr. Trump? They did the same to you. They call everyone who speaks about Biden's corruption a Russian agent. They destroy the truth so they can keep stealing billions and billions of dollars under the cover of helping Ukraine. War is a tremendously huge money business for Zelensky. And the Ukrainian people want peace instead. 70% of Ukrainians want the war to stop, but not Zelensky. He doesn't want peace because peace is more dangerous for him than a war. He cancelled elections because he knows he will lose. He keeps the country in fear because without fear he will lose the power. He continues the war not for victory, but for money and power. The United States held elections even during the Civil War, but Zelensky cancelled the right of Ukrainians to vote. Why? Because if the Ukrainian people vote, they will never elect him again. The Biden corruption machine must be stopped. You made a huge step. You cut funding to the Soros network in Ukraine. You broke their monopoly over the media, over the propaganda pushing the war. But President Trump, the people of Ukraine trust you and have hope for your presidency. We know you are the only one who can stop this mess. Audit Ukraine. Audit every single dollar sent to Ukraine since 2020. Shut down. My name is Alexander Dubinsky and I'm a member of the Ukrainian parliament. I have been in prison for 14 months.
Okay, so those of you who want to see this video again, just go to my Instagram and click on the stories. Alexander Dubinsky, I didn't look him up, so let's go and see. Let me see, guys, just 1 second. I'm gonna Google him. We'll Google him together. Just bear with me. Alexander Dubinsky, he said, yeah? MP. Okay. Alexandr Anatolovich Dubinsky is a Ukrainian politician, journalist, and blogger who serves as a member of the Verkhovna Rada since 2019. So it looks like this is him. Correct. Okay. So what do you think, everyone? Is he still in prison? I think he is, right? But if he's still in prison, how is he able to record a video like this? I just question everything, but what he's saying, of course, we all know that's not a lie. That's all I have for you today. Let me just scroll through the topics up here because I don't want to miss anything. I think we are good. All the links to the videos and the articles that I read you will be attached down below in the description box. I hope you appreciate the video. If you do, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well. If you choose to support my work, as you know, I'm an independent person. I don't have any sponsorships. It means a lot if you become my Patreon or local supporter. You can also choose to donate on PayPal, sorry, if you want to, of course, if you want to. And with this being said, Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity, and I see you in another video. Stay safe, everyone. Bye, guys.